Good evening. Welcome to Single in the City where kings meet queens. I am Nicole Everett,
I am Jokeetra Horn.
Nick Raines, dating coach.
and we are the love team of the Single in the City crew.
Yes.
Oh, that's the horse voice, but y'all get this picture. Woo!
Partying too much.
Yes. So
Correct.
we are all about trying to put the fun back in dating. And we do these live broadcasts every other Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And so we thought we'd come together tonight to talk about dating systems. But before we get started, if you would, shout us out in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I see you, Latanya Smith.
Hey, Latanya. Hey.
And Aisha.
Hey, Aisha.
Aisha, what's up?
We had Aisha on in the earlier part of the year. So thanks for tuning in.
Let's coast.
Yes, she's amazing. So,
Mhm.
but also make sure that you like, love, share it, and
Yes.
tell us where you're from. Put it in the comments where you're from.
Yes. Like, love, and share. Like, love, and share. So again, all about putting the fun back into dating. Our last show, we had some very entertaining guests.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we did.
Right.
We had three comedians: comedian Tight Mike, comedian Sweet Baby Keita, and comedian Jen. What's Jen's last name?
Thomas.
I can't remember right now.
It's
Jen
Thomas.
Yes. And boy, yes, Thomas. Mike had to leave us early, but the ladies kept us quite entertained.
I think Mike wanted to get out the kitchen. That's what I think wanted to happen. He didn't want to be in the hot seat because he was the only male comedian. Yeah.
It was getting kind of hot.
Thank you. Well, before we get started, though, can we please just acknowledge that this is Black History Month? So I hope that all of you are getting your Black History Month facts. Did you know on? And I know I posted that I'm Black every month, but this month I was going to be blackety black. So Black History Month. And then if we can just have a moment of silence. We heard that Tiger Woods had a single car crash and that he is in the hospital having surgery on his legs. And also to just continue to pray for those who are suffering with COVID, and also for those that are out in Texas. A lot of people have not regained their power or water. So we can have a moment of silence, please. That would be wonderful. Okay. And make sure you check on your people. I know I checked on my cousin out in Texas and she made me holler. I was like, I've been worried about you. How have you been? She was like, girl, I went and got my wig tightened today. I flipped today, so I'm feeling good. I said, oh, the simple things.
Well, we had Ozzy in the house. He said a quick pop in. Hey, Ozzy, we hadn't seen you in quite a while. Hope you're doing well, brother.
Hey, Ozzy.
With the cameo. What's up?
Purple Rain, folks. Yes.
The color is
Noticing the colors. I like it, Oz.
Yes, the color is purple. So dating systems. I've heard Nick mention this on previous chats that we've had, and he's done a post about it. And I've continued still to just have a question mark, like, what is a dating system? And do I need to have one? And if so, why? And what does it need to consist of? I got questions, Nick. I want to know.
I do too, because I tried to Google it and I was like, you can Google anything. But when I Googled dating systems, it talked about calendars. So it talked more about dates for calendars, but it didn't speak specifically to relationships. So I too want to know what dating systems are and to take notes. So I's ready. Nicole, you ready? She really got
So when we talk about dating systems, and like you said, Jokeetra, it's not much out there when you go to Google it. It's more so a system that you put together for yourself. And so Dating and finding love requires strategy, preparation, and goal setting. So we can't go into it, like I said in my video, haphazardly and saying, well, I'm looking for somebody, hope that I found somebody, and hopefully we get married or whatever the goal may be. We actually have to have a plan, just like we plan for everything else. Because my thing is, if you don't have a plan, how do you know if you succeed in a failing? You really don't. Or you're just out there. So that's one thing about it. So when I say system, it's really the strategies, preparation, and goal setting that you have when it comes to dating. So we should apply.
Okay, I'm sorry. So is this dating system something that you created, or, how does that work?
So it's really something that I wouldn't say I coined the phrase, but it's something that's out there when it's saying just have a system when it comes to approaching dating. Just have a strategy, have goals, and have prepare yourself for what you're about to jump into. Like I said, so how do we know what success is? Well, we don't know when we achieve it because we haven't set goals.
So let me ask you this. Should you start with the end goal in mind in terms of whatever your goal is, establish that first, and then put the system in place the method in place in order to help you achieve that goal?
Right, absolutely right, Nicole. Like anytime I set a goal, the first thing I do is put what I want to do in X amount of years, 3 years, 1 year at the top. So that's my main goal. And then you're going to put the action steps in how I'm going to get there. So that's what I do. So it's like, okay, my goal in dating is to, I don't know, meet 10 people in 3 months, or my goal is in 6 months to be engaged, or whatever your goal is. Put that at the top, and then let's put the action steps behind it. So how are we going to get there?
So you can't just say, hey, because I always say, hey, I'm dating with intentions, and people be like, well, what are your intentions? And I'm like, well, I would have, eventually I would love to get married again, but that's just a broad statement.
It is. It's very broad and it's very vague, because it's like, okay, that's good. That sounds good. How are you going to get there? And what are you doing? So,
well, I can believe that because I think that I'm failing miserably because I don't have a system in place. I just don't mind being transparent. Because I joined this app and I've really been messaging back and forth about 90 different men, but I've only really talked to maybe about 10. But now I'm getting tired because it's overwhelming. And I figured when you said system, I was thinking, I think I really need to have a system in place, because now I'm telling people I don't want to talk anymore. I'm overwhelmed, but I could be losing out on a really good guy, but I'm overwhelmed. So I need a system.
So you're right, Jakitra. And dating, when it comes to that, you can be overwhelmed and you can get burned out. It's also something called broken heart syndrome. I'm not saying that's happening to you, but I know you may have met someone that said, I'm just tired of dating. I don't want to do it no more. But a lot of times that's a person that's actually been dating and getting their heart broken over and over and over again, to the point they don't even want to try no more. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like,
I'm not there. No, yeah, I don't know how to date. I'm saying I'm dating with an intention, but I don't know how to date with intention, because I'm like, I don't feel like talking to nobody no more. It's taking up too much of my time. It's draining. I'd rather just do something else. So that's why. And even when I meet and go on dates, I'm just like, no, that's not the one. So I'm like, no.
Is there a such thing as dating fatigue?
I think it is. Yeah, definitely dating fatigue. I'm just tired of going out, just tired of talking to people. I think Jakitra may be that, just dating fatigue. She just tired.
Well, I thought I was more of a serial dater.
But even that gets tired, right? Because you like, when is it going to take? When am I going to find that person? Like,
right. That's it. Okay.
And what they say, when you get to that point, you definitely need to take a step back. Take a step back and kind of get your second wind, probably reassess some things, and then get back out there, because you can't give up because we haven't reached our goal. But you definitely want to take a step back, because again, if you meet somebody right now, they're not going to meet the real Jakitra. They're not going to meet, the best who you are, because right now you fatigue and your patience is probably low. You have less tolerance for people. So you're not going to be that bubbly Jakitra that I know with that great personality, motivating and encouraging. You're probably not going to be that. So they're not going to get the full benefit of Jakitra right now.
Well, I think they are getting that. That's the problem. I feel like y'all are taking more away from me and I'm not getting anything from you.
I got you.
Okay, so system, because
Yeah.
I need to know.
So what I have is pretty much a list of steps that we can get to. So it's like, these are steps that you could probably put in your system. Now, of course, when it comes to having a system, you have to start with yourself first. So I've said this over and over again, but it's so important. And right now, I know it's probably sounding cliche, but you have to become the best version of yourself, meaning you have to know yourself first. That's the first thing.
And Jokisha, what did I say before we started?
Yeah, she did say that. But I do think that in anything that is a given. You know, it is very important for you to know yourself, because if you don't know yourself, you know, even in the workforce, you know, in your personal, then of course you can get taken advantage of, you know, you can go out on the wrong path. So that's key.
Yes.
And so I agree, but I think we don't really spend enough time there in terms of what that consists of. You know,
I agree.
Say know yourself, and people can even say I know myself, but if they really kind of chilled out and, you know, took time off, like both of you have said that you have taken time off from dating or from being in a relationship, and you were spending that time getting to know yourself better.
Yeah, to be honest, Nicole, go ahead. I'm sorry
A
to cut
lot
you
of
off.
people don't do that though. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and not saying that that's what it necessarily takes, although I do believe that probably is what it takes for you to just, you know, say, hey, I'm not going to be doing people right now in terms of any intimate interpersonal relationship. I'm really going to spend this time with me. So
right, and you're right, Nicole. People, they do it, but like you said, they don't spend enough time there long enough. Like I've read and researched that you probably want to take, especially after a heartbreak or relationship, you probably want to take at least a year just by yourself. I mean, you got friends and everything like that, but nothing intimate. Just by yourself, to go back to the drawing board, to really, really get to know you. Going out by yourself or going out with your girls, going out with your homeboys, but nothing intimate. Nobody that want anything from you but just a good time, just friends, like platonic stuff. So it at least take about a year to get all that stuff out of your system.
I thought that once you get divorced, I thought they always say that you should take 3 years off once you get divorced for you to spend, to kind of understand why the marriage, you know, didn't last, and for you to get to know yourself. So you think that you only really need a year?
I was talking about dating. Yeah. Marriage is a
Okay.
whole nother animal. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying for dating,
Yes.
just for dating's sake, when you get out of a relationship, you should at least take a year off. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know many people that do that. Some people already on to the next one.
Exactly.
Because people are so afraid. You know, it's like when you're spending time to really get to know yourself, that's like addressing all of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And a lot of times when we get to the ugly, we don't want to deal with the ugly. So
bingo.
Yeah. So then we just try to find ways to fill all those gaps because we don't want to deal with it. It's kind of like when we're driving in a car. How many of us can drive in a car without any music, you know, without touching our phones, without anything, and just be alone? Not many people can even do that. And that could even just be a 10-minute ride. So it's like we always have to have something feeding into us. And that's what makes it so difficult.
Now, that's a good example, Jakeisha, because normally I've done that several times. I still do that, riding in the car with nothing on, because what usually happens is you start dealing with your thoughts.
Yep.
You start dealing with what you got going on, what's going on, what you need to get better at, what I need to improve, what I've done well, all that stuff. And a lot of people can't handle that. So, of course, a lot of people can't handle being by themselves, because some people, they're like, oh, I'm so lonely and things like that, which is like, just take the time now to get the reward in the future. It's you either going to sacrifice now or you're going to sacrifice later. That's just it. So just take your time. So yeah, in marriage, I do agree. I believe it needs to be more than a year, but I'm just saying in dating, at least a year to take off, especially if you feel like you have dating fatigue, and just take that time, really get to know yourself, reassess, and then come out with a system and a plan, and then go back out there.
Okay. So number one is,
so number one is learn about yourself, what works. So we just kind of cover that. What works for you? All right. So that's number one. So it's going to be different for everybody. Learn what works for you. And when I talk about a system, you really have to assess where you're at in your life. So what you want to do, if you have kids, where do you go, things like that. Because like I always say, is the example that I use, if you have a football team, a coach normally already knows what type of players he wants on his team. He has to get the right personnel because he already has a system that he want to run, right? So that means that if he want to run a system, then that means he has to get the right personnel to plug and play.
Right.
So whenever he get his system, that's the system you have to have. Then what I could do now, I could get the certain players and we can call them candidates, daters, or suitors, and then we could plug them in because that they should work because I got a system. So that also allows you to not be plugging in the wrong people because it's like, I already know you won't work in this system. We won't gel together because I have a certain amount of space for you, a certain amount of time for you, and this is what I need from you. So at a certain point, you almost have to be selfish, but you're not being selfish because you don't want to entertain them and you don't want them to get what they need to, but you really need to be selfish to the point to say to know exactly what you need in your life. Okay. Now, it's up to them to decide whether they're going to fit in or not. That's up to them. This is what I got going on. Can you fit in? Are you the right person in my system?
So you're saying that when you meet someone, you immediately kind of share that information, or do you just kind of sit back and observe?
I wouldn't say immediately share that information because you don't want to waste your time on the wrong person. So it's like, I'm not going to waste my time on somebody that I feel like that it's not even, and I can't even invest in them because it's not worth my time. So the thing is that once you get to know them a little bit, and again, man, you have that system and you can kind of see them working in your system. It's almost like, I go back to the football analogy. When you're recruiting, coaches already have a system in place. So when they go recruiting, it's like, yeah, this type of player right here, he work good in our system. It's just like dating. So it's like when you out there looking, you already have your system in mind. He's like, this person will actually work good in my system before you even start talking to them, right? Or when you start getting to know them, you realize they could fit in good in your system, but they still have to check out.
Okay, I need you to go deeper on that for me because I'm really trying to get this system down because I hear what you're saying. And, when you do the football analogy, a coach already knows, like you said, what they need for the team and how they're going to use that person and how that person will fit. And sometimes the coach will change that person's position, because I know what's his name? Peter Warwick was a quarterback, but he put him as a wide receiver. So in dating, though, with your system, I'm just trying to understand when you say I know that person will work well with my system. So how do you know, I guess, immediately or early on if that person might work well in your system? What things will make you say, okay, they will work well with my system, so I don't have to waste their time? Because you got to ask some questions or share some things in order to know that.
Right. That's a very good question. And I think and I'm gonna get to that point, and that's later on down there.
Oh, okay. So, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. I'm sorry.
You're real good, but it does take a level of conversation that you have to even say this person could be a good prospect, though. So you do have to have some questions. But what I'm saying, you don't want to spend your time on everyone because you can kind of look at some people and be like, nah, red flag here. So I won't even try. But it may be some people that, they may not have a whole lot of red flags, and you like, you know what? They may go good in my system, so let's check it out. The reason why you don't really know offhand, Keith, because even though you have a system, they may have a system too. So you also have to gel with what they have going on too. You see what I'm saying? So it's like they're gonna tell you, okay, that may not work for me because of this. Well, like I said, at some point you got to be a little bit selfish. It's like, you know what? Well, this is what I need. So it's like it's gonna be a conversation, a give and take, and a compromise.
So are we talking about red flags and deal breakers?
Yes. I'm talking about all those. That right there, Nicole, that's right there is going to save you time. So do I even need to waste my time to see if they even going to fit in my system? The red flags are already, I don't even have time to even get to know you because I see so many red flags. So I can't even waste my time.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like for the 90 guys that I've been messaging, I mean, I know I can cut some of them out real quick when they say, "Hey, sexy," and I don't even respond, you know. So maybe I need to have a book and write their names down in order to keep notes.
Right. Right. No, you're right though. You're right. See, the thing is, you have somewhat of a system because you're like, well, hey, sexy, that's already a deal breaker for you. So guess what? You're not gonna waste your time to get to know that person because you do have to have a process of elimination.
He was just playing, Keisha. You too sensitive.
Well, I'm not playing.
Because if you're a good candidate and you have a lot to offer, you do have to have a process of elimination because you can't date everybody. You can't spend your time with everybody. So you do have to have some disqualifiers. So you have to have that. So you won't get, a whole lot of dating fatigue and then kind of give up through the process.
Okay.
All right. So red flags. That's one of the eliminators, right?
Yep. Right.
So that's part of the system, right?
It's part of the system.
Okay.
So basically you need to go through and make note what things are red flags or deal breakers for you. Because usually in dating, that is a question that people will ask. They will ask you, what are your deal breakers? And I think that that's something you should be able to say to a person, because if a person say, well, I don't like a female with fake lashes, you know what I mean? That's a deal breaker. Then if your lashes are butterfly lashes or whatever, then you'll know right then, okay, let me eliminate them,
So good point. And let me say something to that. So just a little caveat. If you can't tell someone where your deal breakers are and your red flags, you haven't spent enough time with yourself.
Okay. Right. I mean, that's true, because I think that's one of the questions that always come up when, immediately I start talking to people. I want to know, because some people say, if you're not family oriented, or for me, a deal breaker is if they have kids that are younger than mine, then I don't want to talk to them. And I've cut several guys off when they say they have young kids. I just don't want to talk to them. And they'll be like, no, don't. I said, that's just my deal breaker. I'm sticking with it and cut them off.
And that's fair. Because the thing is, what you don't want to do is actually get to know somebody and they're very, very nice. And then, you guys are moving forward, right? Becoming exclusive. And then that deal breaker comes back. Because remember, deal breakers, they don't really go away, right? You may tolerate it and still have that in the back of your mind. And then you realize that's not going to work for me, right? It's not going to work for me. You're a great person, but that's going to always bother you. Always. Yeah. It's not going to go away. And so you have to be real about that and say, you know what? Why even bother? Right? If I can't see the end, why even begin?
No,
okay.
Good point.
So that's okay. I got a question. How many systems? How many are there?
So I'll say it's just one system. It's a system that you come up with yourself. It's one system.
Oh, okay. But a part of the system that you're going to give us tonight, do you have like an outline of how many there are?
Right. Okay. So I got steps.
Well, Nick, you need to go ahead and coin that. So this can be the Love Innovators, dating system. So, and then people can pick from that what might work for them, but at least be able to address all of them. Because I think I'm sure they're all important.
Right. I agree. So, so another big one is let go of the past, forgive and forget so you can move on. You could repeat the same mistakes because you're attracting the wrong people. So that's a real big one, right? So if you don't let go of the past and you don't forgive, then some people keep saying, right? You heard this before. I keep meeting the same people. Why I keep meeting the same people? The reason is because the hurt that you have, it's an energy and it attracts those same type of people. I always meet these type of guys. I always meet these type of women because you haven't dealt with a lot of hurt in your past, a lot of insecurities, and they feel that energy, and that's why they're attracted to you as well. I know y'all seen before, right? Have y'all seen before? Negative people seem to find negative people. Like they hang out in a bunch, right? The reason is because it's negative energy. They feel it. They look at each other like, oh yeah, I like you. I can feel your energy. That's the same thing with you. When you haven't dealt with your past, when you haven't dealt with a whole bunch of hurt, when you still dealing with forgiveness, somebody else that got that same issue, they feel that. And they are attracted to you. So that's why if you don't deal with that type of stuff, that's why you're going to keep meeting the same people.
Well, look, you ain't never lied right there because and I know I have said this before that it took the pandemic for me to forgive myself for marrying someone that I know God didn't intend for me to marry. And I know that that is a part of me probably being single for so long because I was still like, I don't want to go down that road again. I don't want to be with someone that I know I should not have been with. So now I'm taking every step I can to ensure that I don't be with someone like that, you know, because that type of hurt and experience and all of that can stay with you, you know, if you don't deal with it.
Right.
And that's what I find though, because that's one of the questions that I asked, you know, too. I always say, have you dealt with your past hurt? Have you dealt with your past issues? And then I always say, and if you have you forgiven yourself for it? Because that whole forgiving yourself part is so important, you know.
And people forget that. Right. People forget that part. They'll forget the other person, but they don't forget themselves. You're right.
Yeah. And you find that a lot of people have not dealt with their past because, you know, they'll say, oh, I'm over them, you know, and it's like you might be over them, but have you really dealt with some of the issues? Because you also got to look at not only did that person do some things, but you did some things also. You know what I mean? Hey, Ursula, you did some things also. It wasn't just a one-sided thing. It was some things that you did also.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And what freak? Go ahead, Nicole. I know he's about to say something.
Well, I was going to ask, does that not, I mean, letting go of the past and forgiving and forgetting, does that not fall under learning yourself?
It does. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Just kind of ironing it on out and just taking the step to kind of go into detail. Yeah, it definitely does. And the other part I was going to say about, and that's what helped me forgive, and it really stuck to me. You're doing yourself a big favor too when you forgive that person. A lot of people feel like when they're not forgiving, when they don't forgive someone, they're hurting that other person, right? But when I heard that not forgiving someone is like taking poison yourself and hoping the other person gets sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's almost like you're killing yourself because a lot of times that person may have moved on with their life and you still feel like you got them, oh, I ain't gonna forgive you and things like that. And they already moved on. You're hurting yourself.
Yep.
Well, forgiveness is for you anyway. You know, I mean, that's what's so powerful about forgiving is for you. But Nicole, I mean, I think that it is a part of, you know, you getting to know yourself, but I think that it's so much deeper than that, you know, too, with your past, because, you know, getting to know yourself can come in one way, but tackling every past relationship, you know, and some hurt can come from your family, you know what I mean, that you can bring into a relationship. So I think it's important to deal with every little aspect that you can.
But that's part of what I was initially saying is that we talk about knowing ourselves, but don't specifically speak to what that means. And I think this forgiveness part is one of those really important aspects that's part of knowing yourself.
Yeah. And I think that helps you too in dating because you won't talk about, you know, have you ever been out on a date with someone or even on the phone and they talk about their girlfriend or their boyfriend the whole time and you just be like, you haven't gotten over that. You know, oh yes, I have. I done moved on, you know, be like, no, you really haven't.
You know, the fun thing about that, Jaquitra, they don't even know either. They don't even know they haven't moved on, but you can tell it because you like, man, that's all you talk about right now. But they still not over them. So it's like unconsciously, they don't even know that.
And let me correct myself. Let me be clear. They may be over them, but they may not have gotten past the hurt, the trauma, you know, that part. And I think that's why I know for me, I had to during the pandemic to be like, oh, you know, you may have divorced him and you may have wanted to, but the things that occurred in the relationship or what he may have done, you got to have power over that. You know what I mean? And not let that hinder you from being happy with someone else because everybody is not like that person.
Amen.
I was thinking about something. It's kind of, this would be after hours talk right here, but I'll share this real quick. So whenever you with someone and just say you married, they did like some autopsy, right? And it was a person that was married. And when they did the autopsy, they found semen in that person from 50 years ago. And yes, so that means that it was still in that person. And a lot of times that actually affects the way you operate and move. Yeah, it was found in that person. So
Okay, hold on. This is a true story.
Yes, yes, yes.
They found, so that person didn't clean themselves.
No, it's just they did. But what I'm saying is it was still found in there. What I'm saying is that still you can still be dealing with that person, not even know it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, and we know that's why it says that before you engage with someone intimately, I mean, you're engaging with every person that they have been with, and that person is getting into your system. So you have to be mindful of that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. You could be, and like you said, you could be dealing and operating like that person that you have left and don't even know it because the DNA is still inside of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I know in my younger years that I probably would say that I regret, but I wish that I would have realized just how important that is, the intimacy and the act, because once you really do know yourself, you're not going to just give yourself to anybody. It's just that important. He said they dug in deep.
Yes, they did, man. Yes, they did.
Or maybe they didn't have to go deep. I mean, it could have been on the surface.
Hey, it was still in there. So, and it can affect you. Like Ursula said, it's DNA. It's actually, and DNA shapes you. And so you can still be dealing with a person, not even know it. That's why they had this thing. Why Nina Bottom did that soul ties, that thing for real, right? It's real.
Oh my
God,
that thing is real.
That's so deep, and that's part of that. That's what that really is. So anyway,
wow.
So number 4, you have to really
alone, right?
You have to really define your ideal mate, right? So you must be aware of them so you can know when you meet them. So we'll go back to the list. Like the lists are fun and everything like that. And so I think it is a place for the list. I think we don't have to be so rigid with the list, but I think it is a place for the list because I think you have to know your ideal mate before you actually meet them. If not, how are you going to know? What are they going to look like? What do you want them to be like? So I think you have to have an idea of what you want them to look like.
Okay.
Yeah. Just so when you see it, like, okay, physically you match up. After all the attributes that I want, you match up. But the thing is, though, that's not the most important thing, though. The most important thing is integrity, character, consistent behavior over time, things like that, right? So can I trust you? Do I have security with you when I'm talking really from a woman's perspective, right? All those type of things. But physically, though, I need to know I want you to look a certain way because that's what I prefer.
Yeah, you want to know if you can get down and dirty with them, if you're going to be attracted to them.
Right. That's key. I mean, that is key. I mean, attraction, it does matter. Physical attraction, it does matter. And the thing is, it's certain things that, may turn you on about a certain person. You want to be turned on to the person. You want to be, aroused when you get around that person. So that stuff does matter.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Because if I don't see myself kissing on you, then you in the friend zone right away.
Yeah. Uncle Ron, when we had Uncle Ron on, he's a big proponent of the body game. That's what we always talk about, the body game. So especially when it comes to a man, it's certain features on a man that can actually arouse a woman just by looking at him, right? It's the body game. And that's why it's so important, to get yourself in shape, the best shape that you can, because a lot of times you don't have to say anything, but if they like your certain build, they can actually get excited and aroused.
That is true.
So yeah, the body game is real. It's totally real. Right.
So, yes. So for both sides.
Right.
Both sides. Agreed.
So being clear on your ideal mate is important, and that's part of the dating system. But can maybe the script be flipped on that? Because maybe, you may have an ideal mate in mind, but there may be someone that comes around that maybe would not normally be your type. Just maybe the conversation was strong, or how they talk about people having game, whatever. But in body type might not have been what you would normally have liked as well. So what am I trying to say? How tight should you hold on to your list?
Yeah, so I would say that's a great question, Nicole, because they may check off on the body and things like that. That's why I go back to the system piece. So they may not be, let's just say the physical attributes don't really add up, but as far as their personality, their character, and everything like that, that fit in your system and what they have going on, their pursuits, their goals, their dreams, what they want to accomplish, they may fit right in your system. So it's like that wasn't the package that I was looking for, but that's everything inside that I was looking for. So you do make exceptions, right? But you do have to have the sifting and the weighing, right? You do have to have that when you fit right here. Physically, not everything, but character-wise and everything I'm looking for inside, you got it. And so you still fit. You know, package is a little bit different, but you fit, and I can roll with that.
Okay. And now you go to the gym with me.
Well,
right. whatever you need to work on, right? Physically.
I can say that I agree with you on that. And I think that that's probably one of my biggest struggles, is because I have my list and it's probably rigid, but I know I just met this guy. Totally nothing on the outside is on my list. Nothing. But as I continue to engage in conversation with him, everything else works. And that's my struggle, because I'm like, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him like that. But the more and more I talk to him, the more and more I'm just like, he is sweeping me off my feet. Just like, I just want to talk to him more and more. But I'm like, but his outside is nothing like what I would normally go for.
Yeah. But those are guys, Keitra, it's like, you might want to, I ain't not saying that, but I'm saying those are dangerous. Those are dangerous people. Because like you said, physically, that's not what you really want. But if you keep talking to them, though, if you keep talking to them, like Steve Urkel, I'm wearing you down. I'm wearing you down. That's
it's not just talking to him, because I've been spending, I spent time with him too. And how I met him, it was awkward. But the more time I even spend with him, it's like, oh my God, and then one of my girlfriends this weekend was talking about how she met her husband. And she was like, he just swept her off her feet. And I was like, oh my God, that's what's happening. And you fight that, you fight it. But I think that there are times when that might happen, and that might really be who God intended for you to be with. So your list, all this list that you've made, and all that stuff you put on there, God is like, you asking for stuff that you want, which is fine, but I'm going to give you what you need, because I know what you need. And that's that's why I'm so confused, because I'm like, this ain't working out quite the way I had planned it.
Which was exactly my question, Jokeitra.
And I figured that when you said it, that's why I was just like, I'm going through that right now.
I was wondering why you were squirming over there.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it is a very big spiritual aspect if you're a believer in God, right? Because God created all of us, right? And he, the one that knew the beginning and the end at the same time. So that means God created you. Everybody has a purpose inside of them. So that means God knew exactly what he wanted you to do before he placed you on this earth. Not only that, God knew exactly who you needed on this earth to accomplish and help you accomplish what you wanted to do on earth. So it's a spiritual aspect in that. So it's like, they may not be packaged the way you see them, but God is like, no, that's exactly the type of person you need. Because everything else that you need and the inside is there. It may not look everything that you want it to look like, but that's the person you need in your life. And that's why it's gel. And that's why everything seems to flow real good, because when you order your steps with God, he's like, promotion, whatever else you want right here. And also whoever you're trying to marry is in that same path as well. When you follow him, everything else lines up, right? So that means even the person that you wanted, if you already asked God for somebody, if you're praying for them, they also come in that package too. So that means you really have to be sensitive and realize, is this the person for me, God? Because I'm doing everything you want me to do. It looks like the same person, but I don't know, Lord. So you really, it's a spiritual aspect to that too.
Well,
okay.
Listen, Where's the collection plate? Where's what's the name? Marquisha? Who?
Yeah, Makina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look, we need to pass a collection plate right now.
Yeah, you definitely preached on that one. That's a fact. So I guess that's been my thing too, is, we pray for what we want because God already know what we need. But, sometimes God will step in and say, I'm going to give you not only a little bit of what you want, but I'm going to give you everything that you need. So that's what I've just been kind of talking to God on and feeling as if, okay, I can't be so shallow with some of these things, because I'm like, I want a dark skinned man. I want a dark skinned man. And this man ain't a bit more dark skinned.
He might be light skinned, but he might have everything that you need in your life. The thing is, now let's keep on that spiritual aspect. So let's go back to that. So the thing is when you actually, and that's why it's so important too. I didn't say this, but once you start walking in your purpose. So when I'm talking about you're a Christian, get to know yourself, that means that find out what your purpose is in life, right? Find out what that is. If you look and you go back in the Bible, and I know DK talked about this too, he had Adam. He told Adam to work. Adam was just working. He was doing his purpose. He didn't even ask for Eve, but because he was already doing what he's supposed to do, God said, I'm going to give you Eve and you don't even have to do anything. You keep working and I'm going to send Eve to you. And when he woke up, Eve was there. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So when you walk in your purpose, it's the same thing, because when we look at Adam, Adam was the first Adam and then Jesus was the second Adam. And so it's the same thing. So when we walk in our purpose, then God is like, Jaquita, you already doing what you're supposed to do. Nicole, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Because you're doing that, I'm going to bless you with what I want you to have in this earth. Not only that, this person that I'm giving you is not going to take you away from your purpose. They're going to help you fulfill it, because I don't want you to be distracted.
All right, Brother Nick. All right, hold it down. Hold it down. Preach.
Oh, Lord.
Someone said, he said that if this person is not for me, remove me or show me. And I think that's important. To say too what Stacey just said, because that is a prayer for you to say, listen, move anything that's out of my way that's not right for me.
I don't want it, right? Because I don't need it. At the end of the day, he knows what's best for you. So my thing is, it may look good, but it ain't good for me if you ain't sending it to me.
And I know we hear that a lot, but we just are not obedient because he give us that free will, because I know, hey, I confess there were times in college that God would be like, don't you go over that man's house. He ain't right for you. And I'm going anyway.
Flesh is real. Listen, the flesh is real.
It is.
There ain't no reason with the flesh. The flesh is real.
But we're at an age now to where we have to be in tune with that, and we have to hear and know that, okay, God, I hear you telling me. I done experienced enough in the past to know when you say that quiet, still voice, when it comes to you, okay, let me move him out the way right now, because trust me, if that would have happened to me in my marriage, I would not still be going through the same things that I'm going through right now. So I know how important it is. So amen, Stacey. Amen.
Yeah. So once you get to that point where he's like, you know what, I'm tired of wasting time. So I just want what you want for me. And then it's like, okay, you kind of die to that flesh a little bit. And then you kind of, you could really try to maintain it and just pray, but you just have to get to the point where like, I'm tired of being derailed and off my track, because he has a certain path for you. But a lot of times we veer off a little bit to the right and he's like, oh, come back over here. Veer off to the left, come back over here. Because if you just stay on this track, whatever you pray for is right on that same path.
Man, I think we could go on and on and on about that, because I know there are so many people in relationships that they want to leave, but they're scared to be by themselves. Are they just hanging on to someone thinking the next one is going to come along? And it's like, God is like, I'm not going to bless you with what I want you to have. If you trying to hang on to this, you don't trust me. We don't trust him to do what we know he can do. So
that's good. I'm sorry. That's good what you said. And it goes back to our first point. If you're scared to be alone, that means you didn't do your homework in the beginning.
Exactly.
Because you're supposed to start it alone, by yourself, getting to know yourself. So that means that if it don't work out, I go back to where I started again, reassess, and I get back out there. I'm not scared to be alone. I was alone before I met you. Matter of fact, I was doing good. I'm going to invite you into my life, not take over my life.
But there are some people who have not been alone. There are
Ain't got
some
no homework.
people who have always been in relationships, so they
That's the
don't
problem.
know how to be alone. And I'm just thinking at this age, we should have at least been by ourselves at least 1 or 2 times in our lives, you know, because you're right. That's saying something right there if you've never been able to be by yourself.
Let me give you some. Some of those people don't know how to be alone, though. Also, don't know how to be with nobody either. They really don't.
There ain't no shade. There ain't no shade. That's just facts.
It's
Nick,
facts.
you are about to set captives free tonight, Nick. Wait a minute.
That's
Say that
that's
again.
true.
For real.
Rewind.
This is the thing. See, look, this is the thing. When I'm alone, right, I'm spending so much time with myself. I know myself, right? So now I'm getting to the point where it's like, you know what? I can actually add somebody into my life. And not only can I add them to my life, I know what I can give them, right? I got so many things I can give them. I'm having a great life, and now I want to share it with somebody else. So you coming in now, like, I just want to share my life with you. I'm having a good time over here. I want to share my life. But when you got somebody that's scared to be alone, what are they giving you? They just don't want to be alone. They're not giving you anything. Matter of fact, they may be a burden to you because they just don't want to be alone. They don't want you to go nowhere. So they end up being needy. They end up asking where you at, you know, so they being insecure because they don't want to be alone.
You look, you got me over here stuttering. You right. you. Amen, Nick. Amen. And you know, Tracy said something. Yes, he is. Whoever said that, he owned it tonight. He owned one. But Tracy said something early in the game. I think it was Tracy Phillips. She had said something about on the other side of that too is when you are by yourself and you're happy, it can be a challenge. You know, dating can be a challenge. And there we go. You can also become so comfortable being alone that dating becomes a challenge. And I know that that's probably the space that I'm in. You know, because one of my dates this past weekend, he was like, I need you to put your guard down. You know, he was like, I need you to do that. And, you know, I was like, my guard not up, but it really was. And I think because I've become so comfortable and I am so set in what I know that I want, that I don't want to just let anybody come into my world. So sabotaging self.
Sabotaging self is the worst pain itself, is not knowing when it comes to dating. Sabotaging self.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that the other side of that, what you were saying, there's another side to what you were saying, too, about someone who's not able to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is. And I have to go back to when you get to that point, right? Because you're pretty much complete. Like I said, we're not bringing 50 to the relationship. We're actually bringing 100. Like we're supposed to be whole when we come. So the thing is, whenever you do that, you know, it's when you're not alone, right? And so you get to the point where you've been alone for so long, it's hard to make space for someone else. So I think that's when it really, really takes you to be walking in your purpose, because what happens is a lot of times God will introduce and interrupt your life because you'll continue on because you're so good right now. So a lot of times God will just come and just interrupt your life and say, okay, I like what you're doing and everything like that. But this thing right here can actually take you to the next level where I want you to be. And so you really have to be in tune with God, because you will probably stay alone because everything is good, but God will actually introduce, if that's what you want, he'll interrupt your life because you're doing so well. And then he say, this is what I want you to be with to take you to the next step and that next level.
I like that. I agree with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick. Okay, so that was system number 4.
Yeah, or just technique or system, whatever you want to call it, steps.
Well, what you want? Look, what you want to call it, Nick? This
is a system. Hey, you can call it a system. This is a system. This is steps that you can put in your system. 99 and a half won't do, right? So, and we talked about this before, right? Whatever you want, be that for them as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you see that video that what's B Smith did? She did a video that went viral talking about that. It was a little loud, you know, but basically you got the gist. But that's exactly what she was saying, you know, is that sometimes we ask for stuff that we're not.
Right. And so, like I said, so you're not even what you're trying to attract. So what you make you think that person that you say you want to be with even is going to look your way, because you're not even giving off that vibe, you know? So it's like, be in the same circle, be in that same energy, have the same
Be in the
positivity.
same neighborhood.
Exactly, had the same type of mindset that you actually can actually attract that person. So you ask for a whole bunch of stuff that you're not even yourself. So the thing is, you're actually cheating that person if they do give you a shot, because you haven't done your homework and they have. So now when you get in a relationship, you're the one insecure because they are already tending to their purpose and you don't know who you are.
Oh, that's probably what done broke up a lot of relationships too.
It has, because someone you have at the same time when you get with someone, right? And this is what happens to a lot of people. I see this a lot. They so excited, right? They meet somebody. They were doing good. They had their own life. They get with someone and they forget they had a life. And next thing you know, they didn't join that person's life and took upon that person's life. And they like, okay, cool. You want to roll with me? I'm still having fun. And then you realize I done lost myself in their relationship. I need to back up. And they like, hold on, what happened? What happened? I thought everything was good. No, you actually lost yourself in that person. You still need to have your own life outside of that person. With that person, you got a life, but you also got a life outside that person. Do not forget about your life. You invite them into your life. They're not taking over your life, and vice versa.
But isn't that amazing how the system works, though, and how it all goes together? Because I think that, again, if you know yourself, even though your relationship might matriculate a little bit too soon, you still will be able to identify that, and the relationship will end a lot quicker instead of you investing a lot more time into it.
Right. Agreed.
Okay, Nick, everybody's saying you own it tonight. Ozzy said,
yes.
I appreciate the good points tonight. It is resonating.
Thank you, Oz.
So be a good topic. I knew
it. so number 6 I have on my list, right? So make a plan to meet singles, whether it's online dating, whether it's speed dating, whether it's meetup groups, whether it's like blind dating. So if you're saying you're single, you want to meet people, you have to have, what is your avenue? What is your method to meet these people? You hear a lot of people say, I'm trying to meet somebody. It's like, okay, what are you doing? What do you do every day? I don't go nowhere. Okay. So how you plan to meet these people if you're not online, if you're not going out, if you don't really socialize, if you just stand in the house watching Netflix all day, ain't nobody coming to knock on your door. Hey, you single? Nobody's going to do that. So it's like, you have to have a plan. And then not only that, have a plan, because what if you don't want to do online? So if I'm not going to do online, then I mean, I got to do more going out, right? So if you don't really want to go out, then I mean, you got to focus on online dating, or you want to do some type of meetups, or you just like your friends to hook you up, but you really need to know what you're okay with. Some people may not be okay with blind dates. Some people may not be okay with blind dates. And some people like, hey man, I trust your opinion. I trust your judgment. Hook me up. You need to know that.
Well, I really wish, and I'll share this. Look, ladies, even gentlemen, I know the app that I joined about a month ago is called Black, BLK. It's probably one of the best dating apps out there. I had my first date from the app on Friday in Atlanta, and I had about 3 more lined up, but I just didn't get to them. But I can honestly tell you that probably has been one of the best decisions that I've made, because even in conversation, I know I've at least made over 100 friends, new friends, and I know my girlfriend was sharing that her and her husband met online, but they never told anyone. And I was like, why are you holding that information back? And it's because a lot of African Americans don't like to admit that they met someone online. I don't know if it's taboo or what it is, but people are embarrassed to say that because they think that someone is going to judge them and feel as if, you on a dating site, why are you on there? It's like, why wouldn't you be? It's an opportunity for you to meet people that you wouldn't have normally been able to meet.
The crazy thing in these days and times, if you're not being online, you really a minority. It's 7 out of 10 relationships are starting online, whether that's Facebook, whether that's Twitter, whether it's Instagram.
Right.
7 out of 10 started online, especially during this time, maybe 8 out of 10. So it's like, if you're not meeting online in some form or fashion, you're really the minority.
Right. And I've met so many great guys from Facebook. Some of them have become some of my really good friends. I mean, I call them brothers, at this point now. So that's why I just don't understand why people are so hesitant about, meeting people online or even joining a dating app, especially now during this pandemic. I think that a dating app is probably one of the best ways to meet people.
It is. It used to be the thing around it was like it was almost a form. I remember when dating online first came out. I remember I had a teacher, and I already felt like he was kind of like a nerd, right? And so he used to come to me and tell me he met all these people online. I was like, man, you meet people online? Why don't you just go out and just meet them, right? Talk to them. But I think that used to be the case, but now it's becoming more normalized that you meet people online. And I think some people are still on that stigma that, okay, you just can't go out there and build your own relationships. You got to meet people online, which 7 out of 10 relationships are starting online. So I think people have to change their mindset when it comes to dating online, because a lot of relationships at least start online, right? You at least seen them on Facebook, you at least seen them on Instagram or something like that. You may go out and meet them personally and physically, but it started online.
Yeah, I think of When Harry Met Sally. That's like one of my favorite movies. And I think about how they met online, although they had already physically met in person. But yeah, so again, the dating app is called Black, BLK. Ladies, it's a good one.
Send you some money. Send you some money for that plug.
Yes.
I would like to speak to the online piece. I think some of it is a fear factor, and the fear factor is, I believe, somewhat centered around being catfished. People presenting themselves a certain way online, or maybe it might not even be them, the pictures or the profiles or whatever it is that they have. So it can be a little intimidating because of maybe this research that you have to do. And I guess depending on how far you go in terms of when you actually have a conversation with the person, like on the phone, or you do a video chat, or you meet with them face to face. So, that's just kind of my thoughts.
Well, video chat can solve the catfishing. What was that? It was somebody was like, log on now. I mean,
that was
that
Makina. Log on now.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the barbershop. No, you don't. Log on now.
Yeah, that can solve the catfishing right away.
So I think, again, we're talking about some things that may seem like common sense to maybe more experienced daters, but for others, some people may be trying to take whatever the person is texting or typing at face value and trying to have some understanding. But I think that, again, specifically knowing like what steps could be taken, because like Dr. Asha is saying now, she said, I don't prefer online due to catfishing, feeling like I have to put too much of myself out there at one time, making a profile, pic and all of that sort of thing. So and then she talks about, I can't vet someone online like I can vet someone I meet through the various circles and or experiences. So,
well, I'll put it like this. I say, because my thing is, I actually paid this time for it. When I first joined, I was like, let me just see how it worked. And then in a matter of the next day, I was like, let me just go ahead and pay. And I went ahead and paid. So I said I wanted to try something different, because what I was doing in the past, I would meet people on Facebook and I would meet them, but there still was it just didn't work out. So I wanted to try something different. And I'm happy that I tried something different. So I think sometimes in dating, we do have to step outside the box and try something different. And the beauty is, if it doesn't work, you can immediately take yourself down. You can delete it. So I just think you should try something different. Just give it a try.
So my cousin Tanya said, FaceTime ASAP. And if they say their camera broke, toodles.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really at that point, any excuses that may come up that doesn't sound legitimate, like that sounds very convenient that your camera broke, right? So you probably that's a red flag. It's a red flag.
Listen, I'm trying to help people out. Look, try something different with the whole dating aspect, because right now during the pandemic, it's hard to meet people if you're not going anywhere. When I do go out, I do meet people out. But Doc, try something different. Just give it a try. Just peruse it and see. You can test drive it for a little bit and you don't have to pay. But I just think that I know that there are some great guys on there that I have made contact with. And I've been thinking, oh, you'd be good for my friend because you won't work for me. But it's just try it.
Okay.
All right. So Number 7, go on several dates. The more you date, the more comfortable you become, and you will exude the confidence and polish your skills. So you really want to get to the point where you're going on several dates, like Deketra just mentioned, because it may be some people that may not be so comfortable with the opposite sex. So they get a little nervous and things like that. So you got to get your reps up. You got to go out more. You got to socialize more, exude that confidence. Understand if you're in type of restaurant setting, if you're in the park, you need to kind of know. So whenever that person says, hey, let's go over here, you got to be mindful of what's the etiquette there, right? How do I present myself there? What do I need to wear? So you got to do those type of things and get out more. So really go out more on several days, several different outings and socialize. And if you don't want to do it, anybody may be interested in, do it with your friends. Just get used to getting out in social settings so you can practice. So whenever you get with someone that you actually do meet, like, and you're attracted to, you won't be all nervous and stuff like that, and you over there stuttering. So you want to, go ahead and get your confidence up.
Okay.
Become a serial dater like me.
Just have a plan. Look, just have a system. Just have a system. Right. Confidence 501. So, all right, number 8. So be open, be positive, have a positive mindset, and learn how to handle rejection. Learn how to handle rejection. It will save you a lot of time. So a lot of people, and I know this easier said than done, but a lot of people don't like rejection. But the thing is, though, you got to really change your mindset. Look at rejection like you just saved me a whole bunch of time, probably money, probably dates and things of that nature. Just understanding that everybody is not for you. You are not everybody type. I don't care. You're not everybody type. Everybody don't want you, no matter if you think you perfect catch and how good you look. What? Everybody do not want you.
Well, then maybe that's not defined as rejection. That could be a blessing.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you got to look at it. Right.
Yeah.
That's how you should take that. Like, okay, you just saved me a lot of time because I actually thought you was attractive and I actually wanted to get to know you. You're not my type. So now you just saved me a bunch of time. Like, because relationships is time. Even if I start liking you, might have saved me a little bit of heartbreak. Now I got to go back to the drawing board and I got to, get myself together again. And now I'm all emotionally attached and everything. You just saved me all that drama. So,
and I think that can go to what Stacy was saying too about your prayer, to say that if they're not for me, then remove them. So that's how you can look at that is,
right.
In that way.
Right. Mm-hmm. Especially when they remove, especially when they remove themselves, it's like, Lord, thank you. Oh, thank you. They weren't for me. Thank you. Right. Because you just saved me a lot of time because I was really feeling them, but you actually removed them out of my way. So that's another thing. So, so have that positive neutrality, right? Positive neutrality means that wait and see outlook. So it's like you meet somebody, and like I always said in my tips, don't get so excited. But you don't get so excited because, this person can only act out of character for so long. When you meet somebody, don't get so excited. But
what you're saying is don't call your girlfriends and be like, girl, I got my dress picked out.
Right. Now, look, don't be calling to I think I found the one.
I found the one.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
That's what we'll do. Girl, I think I done found my husband.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. Like Kevin Hart said, no, I wasn't ready. Don't do that. Don't do it. Look, have that. But look, at the same time, you could be excited, but have that wait and see outlook. Like, okay, I like what I'm saying, but wait and see. Wait and see outlook. Just have that outlook. Just in case to prepare yourself that it may not be.
Okay, how long does that outlook? What are the steps for that outlook to help some people out?
Here we go, right?
Like, is it like the third date? Is it like, what?
That's too soon. You talking about the third date. No. Listen. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to the facts, right? Let's go back to the research, right? The average relationship lasts about 2 to 3 months. So at least 3 months.
You said 3 to 6 months.
No. Listen. The average relationship lasts about 2 to 3 months. So at least 3 months, right? You gotta wait and see outlook. All right. Now, to your point, 3 to 6 months to fall in love. Okay.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. 3 to 6 months, right? So the average relationship lasts about 2 to 3 months. So that means that you find out, we're not meant for each other. I ain't really like you did this. I ain't really like how she said that, a bunch of red flags here. Now, If you get past that point, then it takes about 3 to 6 months to fall in love. That's that thing you was talking about right there. So what I'm saying is at least have that wait and see outlook to answer your question, Jaquitra, at least 6 months, right?
Okay.
I don't know too many people, right? I don't know too many people that can actually act out a character for so long, more than 6 months. If you found somebody,
I was married to one.
He's special. He's an outlier. He's a special breed.
They call them con artists.
Yeah, he's a special breed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, especially if you was married to him and it took that long. That's a special breed.
I didn't know his real age until the 11th year.
That's a special breed. So look,
I know
so most people, right? That's an outlier. Most people can only act out a character for so long. They will revert back to who they really are. So what I'm saying is, I can always say, time is your greatest asset. Have that wait and see outlook. Okay. So
he said positive neutrality.
Yes. Positive neutrality. Be neutral. You positive, but I'm also neutral.
So we got a question on the floor. How many dates we got to go on in 1 to 3 months?
It depends on what you want to know, how much you're trying to find out, right?
Well, I mean, and there are also other dynamics with that too, because if he's live out of town, there could be a lot of things with that. And some relationships progress at different times.
Exactly. Now, see, the thing is, you got to be careful, because if you got that chemistry, that thing could progress a lot faster than you want it to. And you got to be very, very careful when you have that chemistry, right? You got to just vibe.
But I definitely think that you should date them for as long as you can. I mean, being someone that, my ex-husband proposed, it was less than 3 months. I know if I had dated him longer, I wouldn't have married him. So I think you have to at least date them for, like you said, the 3 to 6 months fall in love period. That's what I should have done.
And let's not forget that friendship stage. That's a lot of people skip that. Let's please not forget that friendship stage. That's also very valuable and important. So let's not forget the friendship stage and then go into dating. That friendship stage will help you out a lot.
Well, what's the friendship phase? What's that phase look like?
So
how long is that phase? 2 weeks?
I could write a book on the friendship phase, right? I could write a book.
Give us the Reader's Digest version.
Where's the manuscript, Nick? Come on now.
Right, look. So the thing is, with the friendship, the reason why the friendship stage is so important, because the friendship phase allow you to not get emotionally attached and still get to know them at the same time.
So what does that look like? So when you meet someone and you know there's interest on his side and there's interest on your side, so then what does that friendship stage look like?
So there's certain things that you can do. So you may need a couple of friends to kind of help you out in this area, right? You may need to, if you see somebody that you actually like or you're interested in, you may have to, and it takes some work. It does. If you're trying to get to know them without being emotionally attached to them, you may have to say, hey, invite old boy out, right? Don't tell him I'm interested in anything like that. You know him, just invite him out. I'm going to come too. I'm not going to have a whole lot of one-on-one with him, but I'm going to be checking him out from a distance. I may have a little bit of conversation with him, but I don't want him to know I'm interested in him at all.
Oh, so because this weekend for all my dates, I had a cock blocker. I took my girlfriend with me.
Right. But they still knew it was a date. But see, they still knew it was a date. In this aspect, they don't even know you're interested in them. You see what I'm saying?
Well, no, I think that was established that there was some interest. We both had the mutual, that's why we met for a date, but my girlfriend was with me. So that made things a lot easier. So, okay, but that was a different situation because we were traveling. But in a normal situation, if you can't have someone to tag along with you, do you have to tailor your conversation? Because now that we're grown, our conversations can go from 0 to 100 real quick. No. And then you'd be like, whoa, because I found myself when someone starts talking about something and I'll just be like, no, let me pull back. That's not the conversation that I want to have right now, especially if I haven't even met you. I don't know how the chemistry is. So that's why I'm asking, what does the friendship look like?
I'm saying right now, Jaquitra, it's so many parameters you have to put in place. And you mentioned some of them, right? So to have those safeguards in place, if you're not trying to get emotionally attached, right? It's extreme, but it's like, because this is why I say it's so hard. Because once you tell that person you're interested in them, it's like the friendship stage is skipped. It's right in the dating because they know that you have interest in them. You see what I'm saying? And that's why it's almost like you can't really tell them that almost. You almost got to kind of like watch them from afar, because once they know you got interest, the friendship stage, it doesn't really last. You know, it's
and then your flesh come into play and you be like, I'm grown. I could do what I want to do. You know?
Right. And so it is safeguards that you can put in place. Like, you know, you may not want to go out into, you may not be able to invite them over your house, you know, so soon.
No Netflix and chill. Look, no Netflix and chill. Yeah,
you're watching, you still trying to get to know them, so you can't go over there watching late night movies, and then it's the type of movie that you're picking, and then what time are they leaving? You got to have a curfew. You got to have a time they got to have to leave, you know? But like I said, a lot of people don't want to do this. Okay, then it's like, if you go out to the movies, I mean, is he buying everything for you? You're going to pay for your own ticket. You know, what it's going to be? Are you driving and he coming to pick you up, or he going to drive his own car? You going to drive his car? I mean, he gonna drive his car.
So Nick, you're saying a whole lot here, right? So this is, again, a meaty part of the system, right? Yeah. Because, you know, whether he's treating y'all going Dutch or you gonna treat sometime, again, the types of dates that you go on, whether you're at his house, he's at your house, you know, all of these things play an important role. So, you know, these are some of the small details that you need to be thinking about when developing your plan for your system.
Exactly. Is that because that friendship stage, it mostly gets skipped. We don't even talk about that. We go right into dating. And this is the important part.
I heard you say all of that, and that all sound good, but I just need some kind of idea. When we speak of the friendship stage, is this like a 2-week stage? Is this a 3-week, 4-week? What have you found in your research that covers the friendship stage? Because you speak of the 1 to 3 months, as far as most relationships only really last 1 to 3 months. You speak of the 3 to 6 months, that's when you fall in love. So what would be a good friendship stage, you know, baseline?
3 months.
How?
3 months.
3 months to be friends?
2 to 3 months, yes.
So that would cover like the Steve Harvey, the 90 days of not having sex. Because once you engage in sex, women automatically be like, we go together. You my boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh, pretty much. You're right. It's certain guys. If I take you out 3 times and I pay for it, we going together. Yeah, that's just it. Yeah. Okay. We together. You better not walk out with nobody else. What? It's the same thing.
Well, thank you. That's what I wanted to know. So we'd be friends for 3 months. Okay.
Yeah. So I would say use that as a baseline.
So she's saying that Doc is saying that her emotions and energy don't know how to be just friends.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's hard. So that's why I'm gonna go back real quick. I'm gonna go back real quick. This is a skillful, clever way to try to get to know someone without them knowing that you're interested in them, without being emotionally attached. This is a safeguard that I'm putting out here. I'm not saying everybody's going to do it. It may not be for everybody. Invite that person out. If you have a mutual friend and they know that person that you're interested in, do not tell them that you're interested in them. Just say, invite this person out. I'm going to be there too. I'm going to spend a little time with them as a friend, getting to know them, maybe ask some questions, stuff like that. But I'm also mingle with everybody else, so they don't really know I have interest in them. You see what I'm saying? And so if you do that a couple of times and you're like, you know what? I like what I see. I have enough information. I've gathered my information. I'm collecting data, like old girl said from California. Now I can move away the friends that I'm inviting them out. I can be exclusive because I'm safe and I like what I need. I like what I see, and I can move forward into dating. But that friendship stage is always skipped, and it's a vital part.
So my cousin said my friendship game strong, but maybe too long because I end up in the friendship zone.
So I have a question about about the collecting data. So when we say that we are collecting data, what kind of data what kind of data is being collected?
Yeah, I mean, it's really what you want to know about. I mean, of course, you want to know what they do. You want to know where they're from. You want to know the person. You want to pick up on a personality, you know, family person or not, brothers and sisters, you know, all that type of stuff that you really want to know. I mean, I can't name it all.
But wouldn't this, Nick, be the equivalent of like a pre-screening? You know,
Yes.
because we've already, we've already talked about having your ideal mate in mind, having your list. Of course, knowing yourself, letting go of the past, um, being what you want to see. So perhaps when you're in that friendship phase or what have you, you're observing whether or not, well, you're being what you want to see, but observing if he is, reciprocating that, if you will.
Right.
So the data collection is a part of the system that you're giving us.
Yes.
It's
Right.
kind of like encompasses all of that.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then
The only
you could gather that once you collected all of that data, you can decide what you want to do with it, But if you bypass the friendship stage and you sleep with them and all of that kind of stuff, then all that data is just need to be thrown out the book. You just basically wasted all your time.
Yeah, because the oxytocin, the hormones, the emotions and everything, that's all that in play. Now that's clouding your judgment. So now you don't have a clear understanding of who that person really is.
That's why so many single people.
It is. You're right. You're right. So,
we bypass a whole lot of steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the friendship is so important. Like a lot of people
not
don't
you,
even talk
Nick.
about it
You
no more.
married, but but a single.
Let me tell you, I actually did it though. That's the thing. I was doing it wrong too, but I actually did this. I actually did it myself. I'm not talking from just what I heard. I actually done it.
Dr.
Well, maybe
she need a study guide if you ain't got the book, because she needs some tutoring.
But I do think that that's another good reason too why when you start dating someone that doesn't live in the same city, you do have the time to really kind of get to know the person.
It helps. That does help.
Yeah, and that's what I found, and why I probably have been enjoying people that doesn't live in the same city, because it has given me time to get to know them and to weed out the ones too that I don't want to talk to.
But Jakeet, you're right, because it's just like, I forget the name of that show, but when they couldn't see each other, but they were behind a wall the whole time, and they had to focus on nothing but conversation and chemistry because they couldn't touch each other. So it's like it really came from stimulating conversation. So it wasn't built on nothing physical, but it was all stimulating conversation and chemistry, right? And then they would end up getting married or whatever they want to move forward. And that's the safeguard. See, the thing is, when we start touching each other, it's over. It's over.
Well, you know what? And I saw in a post in one of the groups that I'm in, excuse me, I know I'm not going to get it verbatim, but they made the comment about when you've been celibate for so long, or you take sex out of the equation, then you really see that sometimes people don't bring a whole lot to the table. Because so many relationships are built on, the intimate, the sexual part, and they really hadn't taken the time to really get to know the other person.
They have not.
And that's what I'm finding too, since I haven't been with anyone in that way. It seems like, okay, I need you to bring a little bit more to the table, before we can even get to that type of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, once you have sex, it's like, forget getting to know you mine. So it's like we together. So it's almost like that whole point of research and data, that's going out the window right now. Now we moving on to what can we be together. And so it's like all your data and stuff like that was cut short. It was all that was cut short. That's all out the window, right?
Yeah.
So
and I think
they go back to the screening part. The screening part is good. But what normally happens after you screen, all the screening and stuff like that, we go right into the relationship. That's the thing. We screen and everything like that, and we go right into dating. So it's still a problem. It's still a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that is.
Dr. Asha said sometimes it's the intimate companionship, though, not the sexual intimacy, that makes it difficult to stay at friends.
Okay. Do you understand what she's saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, because conversations, you're hearing each other's stories, you are relating to one another, you're becoming emotionally connected and attached. So it can be challenging.
Not for me. I've learned to get past all of that. I mean, only because I'm really want to find my soulmate. You know what I mean? I can hear all your sob stories. I can pray with you. I can feel sorry for you and all of that. But I'm like, if you don't fit for me in terms of if I don't want to be intimate with you, then we just friends.
But
you're no longer a candidate.
to her point, it's what Nick was speaking to in terms of this show, where these people couldn't see each other, even though they were on the other side of the wall, and all they had was their connectivity through the conversations that they, were having. So, I mean,
yeah, but I've done that too. I've had a conversation with someone and hadn't seen them for months. And then when I saw them, I wasn't really physically attracted to them. But because of the conversations that we had, I ended up being in a relationship with them. And it didn't last long because I just was like, I'm not really that physically attracted to this person. But I was with them because of the conversation was so good. So that's why now I got to get past that.
I think that's what Doc was talking about, right? So it's like that's what can draw some people in too. It don't have to be the sexual intimacy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what.
But I think that when you get to that point where you start feeling, that's when you be like, listen, we got to meet.
Hey, Monica.
Hey, Monica. How you doing, Dr. Monica?
Hey, Doc. Yeah, we have to hurry up and meet because I need to see if this chemistry is real.
Right. I got one more point, and that's it.
Okay, she said, we can't use the dating game show as an example. The Real Deal had a serial killer on that show that won. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what we was talking about, the dating game. I don't think that's the show.
It was.
Well, because that's what came to my mind when you start talking was the dating game.
I forget the name of the show, but it wasn't the dating game though. No, it wasn't the dating game.
Oh, okay. Well, good, Regina.
I watched the whole Netflix series, but I can't think of what it was. It was that good, right? Because I couldn't believe these people was getting to know each other behind walls, never seen each other, and some of them went through with marrying each other.
And I wonder if they still together now.
Most of them not.
Of course.
But the intimate companionship that Doc was saying, it was formulated, it was formed, so that can happen, right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
I agree.
So last point to the system. Let the goal, right? Let the goal of just getting to know them. Let that just be the goal. I just want to get to know you. Let that be the goal. So this is when we talking about we already in a dating, but let the goal just be I just want to get to know you. That way, no matter what happens, you accomplish that goal, right? Don't get your hopes up. This may be the one, all that type of stuff. Just let the goal be, I'm just trying to get to know you. So now whether it works.
Look, now how we do that?
I thought we did that in the friend. Can we do that?
I just want to know, how is that going to be accomplished, Nick? What are the steps for that? How is that going to? I mean, I think it's beautiful, and I agree with you. Because I know that my ex-husband never knew me. He didn't even know what my favorite color was. So I think that it is important to get to know a person. But when you're dating, how do you do that?
Yes, love is blind, to say a point. Yeah, love is blind. That is it. Thank you. Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Kathy. So, Deketra, good question. It has the safeguards have to be in place. The safeguards have to be in place. But what I'm really saying is this. This is what I'm really saying is that I don't want you to continue to be, and I'm not talking about you. I don't want people to continue to get disappointed, right? If you're thinking that this might be the one, and I don't know, it may go somewhere. I'm thinking this far down the road, 6 months down the road, a year down the road. Just let the goal be, I just want to get to know you. That in your mind, it may go further, but what I'm saying is in your mind, just let it be. I just want to get to know you. That way, whatever happens, that goal is accomplished. I actually set out to get to know them. And so I did get to know them, whether it was good or bad, and whether I'm with that person or not. That was the goal. So I really can't be disappointed. It wasn't to get married. It wasn't to get in a relationship with them. The goal was just to get to know them. That's the problem.
I think that, and like I said, I think it's a beautiful thing. But I think the problem is nowadays people don't give you who they really are. It takes a while for you to kind of sift through that. So you think you're getting to know one person, but then on the other hand, you really getting to know, you think you're getting to know Tom, but then you're really getting to know Dick. So
listen, I think that's it though, Joketra. We getting to know Dick. And
we're getting Dick.
We're getting to know Dick.
Out. Look, and you heard me. I said, "Are we getting dicked?"
I heard that's my point, though. That's exactly.
But because you know how when you meet people, you know, because I always say, I just really want you to get to know the real me, you know, and then they'd be like, "What you see is what you get," and then a couple months later, you'd be like, "That's what I see that." So is this the real you? You know,
Right.
and like one guy that I was talking to today, and I know we've talked about this before, how he was saying on the app how women would come and be like, you know, well, what you looking for? What, you know, and he'll be like, I'm not telling you because then you're going to try to be the person that I tell you that I'm looking for, you know, and in dating, that seems like what a lot of people do. They try to fit who you're looking for just so they could be with, you know, they could be with you. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like, that can be kind of iffy. You know, you want it to be the true and the gospel, but the reality is a lot of people just aren't bringing their real self to the table.
Right. And that's why you got to have, like you said, we go back, you got to have your red flags on alert. You know, you got to have those deal breakers on alert because you're right, Jaketra. A lot of people, you meeting a representative at first until they're like, you know what, I'm just going to show who I am because I got to either we're going to do this, we're going to move forward or we're not. I'm moving on. So, you know, at the same time, you just want to get to know them. That's the goal. But we still are not, you know, doing away with our red flags. We're not doing away with our deal breakers. We have to have those in place because I don't want to waste my time.
And I think it's important too when you are saying that for you to kind of have a no judgment zone, because I do think that a lot of times people don't share a lot about themselves because they're afraid that someone might judge them. So they hold back on certain things.
Well, there definitely is a certain level of comfortability that needs to take place and vulnerability, you know, especially if this is somebody that you are interested in and you're trying to get to know. You know, Nick, you're saying that that's the goal is to try to get to know them. And I mean, I really am seeing that more in the first 90 days. I mean, not that you're not going to try to get to know them the entire time, but you really are kind of honing in on that, you know, in that first 90 days to see if you want to, you know, move forward.
Keep it light, keep it fun, right? Keep it light, keep it fun.
Well, how do you keep it light and keep it fun? Look, I think everything you have said, I'll be like, well, how you do that?
How you do that? Jaketra, you want the title, the subtitle, you know, everything. Keep it
light, because, but you know what? I guess it's
because the whole book.
Yes,
she said my emotional pull-out game.
And I guess for me now that I know that I'm at a place where I'm really serious about dating, and because now I'm having these challenges, so I just kind of want to know, because you kind of want to, and it's kind of hard to get it right because everybody is different when you start talking to that many different people. And I know I have some things that I need to work on. So that's why I'm like, what is keeping it light and tight? Because I'm so transparent. I'll be like, here you go. You know, you either accept it or not. But how you do that?
Yeah, like I said, it goes back. That's what it goes back to that point. And I know you want
that back up.
Okay.
Let Nick answer his question.
Okay.
Really
No, what I'm saying, it's kind of like it's a caveat to what I just said, right? It's almost like a subtitle to the way you do that. My goal is just to get to know you. That's my goal, no matter what happens. So the way I do that, I'm going to keep it light. I'm going to keep it fun. Right. I'm not looking if it don't progress or past anything else. I'm okay with that. I just want to get to know you. So I'm going to keep it light and keep it fun. I'm not asking a whole bunch of questions that may be intimate questions where I want to kind of get to know you like I want to date you. I'm not really asking those questions off rip. You know what I'm saying? But if everything is going well, I may get into some of those more heavier questions, more intimate, more intrusive questions, you know. But other than that, I want to keep it light, keep it fun, because I don't want to ask all them questions if I'm not into you anyway. So it's like I see some stuff I don't like. So, you know, why waste my time on these good questions? I want to ask a good qualifying candidate.
But it's easy. That's easy when you're not into someone. I mean, that kind of goes without saying. That's easy when it's not. You're not into someone. But I do know from the app, because guys have paid money, like I have paid money, I've been impressed with how serious they have been with their questions. So that's why I'm like, oh, they really for real, you know, and I think they deserve that when they're asking you questions. They do deserve that, you know. So that's why I'm like light and fun. What does light look like? you know.
So I want to bring up Regina's comment. She said, I really love this guy that I'm dating back when we were friends than I do dating him. I'm getting to the point that I want to just be friends with him, but we cross all the lines.
I'm gonna let you handle that one, Nick.
Put it back up there, Nicole.
Handle it, Nick. Handle it. You can handle that.
The battle's out the window now.
Hey, Regina. He has to ponder that one, Regina, because
we have to touch and agree.
And actually, you might have to call Nick offline. That might be one of the conversations where he got to pull back some things and ask some questions.
But I think you really got to step back, Regina. I think you got to kind of take a couple steps back, you know, and just kind of real assess, like, what do you want out of this relationship, right? I mean, it's like, yeah, she need to call me, but
yeah, because you know what I'm gonna ask. Look, yeah, I'm gonna say, Regina, did you take the time to know yourself before you started dating this man?
That's important. That's important.
But she got to know Dick too, so there you go. That's what it's over again, see?
See, that's what happened when you done crossed all the lines. As he said, Kevin Hart say, she wasn't ready.
Yeah.
All right, I had put that one. All right. Asha said, wait a minute. Inquisitive. I'm an inquisitive person though, so I gotta curb my questions too. Wall slide. I may have to withdraw and retake the class next semester.
but I know where she's coming from because I'm very inquisitive too.
I am too. And
for some reason, when I start talking to guys, I start thinking about my girlfriends, and I'd be like, "Oh, he'd be good for her. He'd be good for, you know, her," in that sense, because there really are some great guys out there, and I really can say I'm impressed, like I said, to see so many guys that really are really and truly trying to, you know, find their queen. So, wow. She said no more. She say
no more touching and agreeing. We'll have to touch and agree for Regina. And she said that's what got her.
What she said.
Say that's what got Regina in the situation in the first place, touching and agreeing. Oh gosh.
And what did Dr. Monica say?
Dr. Monica said she needs to be honest about how she's feeling, respect what you've had.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I do think that also terrible mistake.
Terrible mistake.
But you know what though? There are a lot of relationships that people are in that position, you know. And I'm sure the pandemic has revealed some of that with so many people breaking up and people, like you said, who have missed certain steps and went to, you know, 1,000 real quick.
Yeah, that's tough.
So your systems are tried and true.
Yes. Yes. Now, the thing is, now remember, dating is not a science, meaning that you can't do everything I just said and just duplicate the same results. Right. So it's more of an art. It's more of an art because you got different people you're dealing with. I'm just saying these things will definitely help you in your dating adventures that you may have. You want to have a system. All I'm saying is that this is not a perfect, foolproof system that you have here or methods. But what I'm saying is it beats go out there haphazardly just dating anyone and not having a plan. I'm going to go back to my first point. You want to have a strategy. You want to have preparation, right? And set goals for yourself. That way you're going to know, am I succeeding or not? I mean, how well am I doing if I don't have any goals? If I don't have a strategy, what am I following? You know, if I'm the preparation part, did I do the work on myself before I even stepped out there? So that's the first thing right there. But if you follow these things right here, you will have some success. I'm not saying it's 100%.
Yeah.
Well, so I appreciate.
Are we going to recap real quick, Nick? Just kind of run through them one more again. Okay.
All right. So the first one I said, dating to find love requires strategy, requires preparation, and requires goal setting. Okay. To get the results you want. Learn about yourself and know that what works for you. Right. Yeah. So let go of the past, forgive and forget so you can move on. define your ideal mate. At least have an idea of what that looks like, so they won't just walk past you and you have no idea. So at least have an image, something in your mind of what that person look like, what that person sound like. So if you see it, it attracts you or it gets your attention, whatever. Whatever you want, make sure that you are somewhat of that caliber. So don't be asking for something that you're not willing to be yourself, or some stuff that you're not willing to do yourself. Okay. 6, make a plan, define, and meet singles. What is your plan? What is your strategy? Whether it be online dating, whether it be speed dating, meetups, hangouts, blind dates, group dates, whatever it's going to be. What are you open to? What are you not open to? Have that defined. Go on several dates, right? The more dates you go on, the more chance you get to get your reps up. The more comfortable you get, the more confident you become. So you won't be stuttering. You won't be about to pass out and stuff like that. You know how to flirt. You need to get your flirt game up. Know how to do that. Things like that. So you're gonna polish your skills when you go on more dates. Be open and have a positive mindset, and also be able to handle rejection. Or like Jaketra said, look at, and I hate to use the term rejection, but look at it as a blessing, not a rejection. Look at it, this person did not waste my time. They actually allowed me to move forward, and the skills and everything I possess, I could be with somebody else with it. I didn't waste my time and resources on you when I got somebody else that's actually would love to have a person like me.
I call it man's rejection is God's protection.
There you go. All right, there you go. That's the word. That's the word.
Good. That's the positive word. Neutrality is what I heard Nick say.
Positive neutrality. Yeah. So the thing is, that's that wait and see outlook. Yes, I am excited, but I'm positive. So it's like kind of even keel. I'm still on that wait and see. I'm not too far over the top. I'm not too far. Well, I'm kind of negative. I'm just had that positive neutrality. I'm going to wait and see outlook.
Okay.
The last one, let the goal be just getting to know someone. So that means that no matter what happens, you did accomplish that goal, whether it was good or bad. I did get to know you. It didn't work out, but I got to know you. So keep it light and fun.
So Dr. Asha said, I got to do the whole system at one time, or can I pick my favorite one and run with it?
Pick your favorite ones, Doc.
No, don't tell her that. That's bad advice, because if you do that, you won't be successful in dating. I think a lot of what you mentioned really works hand in hand.
Yeah, it does. I'm just saying, I was telling her, you got to know what works for you at the same time, though, right? Maybe you don't need all of these, but all of these do go together, Jaketra. You're right. All of them go together, and you will have some success if you actually employ or implement some of these.
Yeah.
Tanya says she.
Well, hey, Tanya, you do like we supposed to do with the word. Carry it in your heart.
Hey,
so that way, when you meet that man, you won't be like, wait, let me go grab my composition book. It'll be in your heart.
In your heart, Jaketra, but how you get it in your heart is study to show thyself approved.
Self-approved.
Oh my God. Amen. All right, Deacon.
We have had Bible study on tonight. The next Bible study will be
at Nicole's house at 7:30.
Right.
Let all the saints say amen.
It's the amen.
No, this was good.
Well, I want to say I appreciate you, Nick, on that one, because I feel a little bit better. I feel as if I can go on now.
I'm glad you can keep on.
I want to sing the hymn, though. I feel as if I can go on.
Hey, you run on and see what the end gonna be. Go ahead. I believe I can run on and see what the end gonna be.
I see what it's gonna be, because I'm feeling really good now. I got to do. So I appreciate the little check.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to inspire you and give you a little more kick and a little pep, to keep on moving on forward.
Yes. Thank you, Brother Nick.
You're welcome. Anytime.
All right, Nick, you want to tell folks how they could connect with you?
Yes, y'all can reach me. Our phone number is 850-792-6390 for a free consultation.
Repeat it one more time for Regina.
Yeah, 850-792-6390 for a free consultation. And also You can book a free consultation also at theloveinnovators@gmail.com. So theloveinnovators@gmail.com. And also you can follow me on Instagram at theloveinnovators and also on Twitter at loveinnovators.
Nick, I think that you should, the dating system that you just laid out, I really do think that you should really get that, you should coin that, you should get that copyrighted,
It's in the work. It's definitely in the work.
I mean, only because, like I said, when I Googled it, there really isn't anything that talks about dating systems. And a lot of times we don't think about systems. And that's so, because, with having the restaurant, one of the things that McDonald's does great, they have a system. Chick-fil-A has a system. Every successful business, they have a system. And that's something that they can duplicate, somewhere else. So I think that would be great if you did that.
Yeah, it's definitely in the works, Keitra. I really appreciate that. It's definitely in the works. So yeah, you need a system. Like you said, we have a system for everything else, but for some reason we feel like we can just go out and date and it should work.
Well, nobody has really talked to us, or, when we were growing up, nobody really sat you down and talked about the ins and outs of dating. You know what I mean? And you didn't really see it in some Black households. You didn't really see it being modeled. You know what I mean? You didn't really see public displays of affection, or, you weren't around. Your family would say, this grown folks business, going somewhere. So I think that's why we don't really know, whereas in some of the clear people household, they have talked about dating and how they want their daughters to be with this type of person or that guy. But I think that's the area we hadn't really talked about it. And in churches don't really talk about it either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to find out from your homeboy or Kiki down the road, you know what I'm saying? So mom and dad didn't teach us that. You're right.
Sure. So this was a good one. Thank you, Nick. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
y'all. Yeah, thank y'all. I enjoyed it. I just hope I help. I hope I help some. I hope I ain't convolute the waters and confuse anybody. I hope I help. I hope it's not nebulous. I hope it's things.
Yeah, I think it's been good because you gave some sound advice, and you use the things that will work for you. I mean, I think all of these are critical. And there probably needs to be a little bit more fleshing out, especially that whole friendship piece.
Oh, yes. We could do a whole show on friendship. We really can.
I'm going to say this like they do in church. Sometimes it may not be for everybody else. It may just be for that one.
That's
and
true.
Tonight, that one is I.
Yeah. That's true. You're right, Keitra.
So, my brother, you help. I should cash app you right now. That's how much you helped me.
Yes, because Jokeetra was date fatigued when she got on here tonight.
She was. Yeah, she was out.
Like,
but you done pep me up. I'm ready now. I'm gonna get on phone now. Start talking.
Leave our run on.
See what the end gonna be.
But on our next show, we're gonna. Well, go ahead, Nicole.
No, go ahead. Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention.
No, well, you go ahead.
Marvin Dixon, comedian Marvin Dixon. Some of you may know him from, at least here in Tallahassee, Top Flight, originally from Miami, lives in Atlanta. He's been on several television shows, and I think he was also on some of the Tom Joyner cruises as well. And he was a regular on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. So he is going to be with us in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, right here. Single in the City. Let's see what that date is.
What's that date?
And if y'all have any topics that y'all want, because I always like to say comedians, they have the ability to say things that we want to say, but they do it in, the comedic way. So, but if you have some things that you want to discuss, because he said that he's willing to talk about anything. He is single, but he's willing to talk about anything. So put it in there, the comments. Mm-hmm. Good night, Ozzy.
Mm-hmm. That's March 9th. So March 9th, 8:30 p.m. We'll be right here. God willing.
All right.
All right.
All right. Well, thank y'all. This will be on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And tell your friends about what we got going on here in Single in the City.
Well, share it.
Tell your cousin them. Tell everybody. Grandma them.
Tell your enemies. Tell your girlfriends. Tell everybody.
friendship.
Did you say tell their grandmas?
Grandma's 40 these days, right? Grandma's 40.
Well, I know one of my friends said that her grand told her is 97. She told her the other day that she needed a man. That she needed to see a man.
She said for all future, every guest that we have on, they need to talk about friendship and getting to know somebody.
Okay, so we can tell.
Tanya said it's time dating to meet Dick. I bet you Marvin would talk about that.
I think we've met too many Dicks. We need to do away with Dicks for a while.
Oh my God.
Let's be dick free.
Everybody got jokes tonight, huh? Everybody got jokes.
We just warming up for the comedian.
Oh, that's what it is. Y'all kind of opening up right now. You the opening.
So yeah, definitely have your popcorn ready.
Yeah, because Marvin is crazy. All right, good people. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being on as usual and making this live interesting and fun and interactive. This was a great conversation. And
thank you, Nicole.
Yes. And continue to keep the conversation going. Keep the conversation going. We'll see y'all next time on Single in the City, where kings meet queens.
Night.